This is question 26 from chapter 4, Newton's Laws, on page 144. This is also probably a unit conversion question. Here they're telling you that you have a tanker. The mass is 1 times 10 to the 8 kilograms. This is scientific notation. You have to know how to use scientific notation for larger and smaller numbers. If you don't remember scientific notation, go back to the math review on the LMS and check that out. Remember, we talked about that. That's a skill from grade 9, and you have to know how to do that. So don't worry about that. That's the same as 1 with 8 zeros. 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's how big it is, right? But that's too hard to write, so this is a short form. So that's our mass. Good. Then we have a distance traveled, 3.5 kilometers. Well, that's no good to us as kilometers. We have to right away change that to meters, 3,500 meters. If you forgot to do that, then you're going to have a problem. You must use standard units. Then we have a speed. It reaches a speed, okay? So remember that when you have a force, okay, I'm going to just write this underneath here. Newton's law says F net equals ma. Forces don't cause speeds. They cause accelerations, which are changes in speeds. Whenever there's a force, you're always going to have a V2 and a V1 because they're going to be different. So don't confuse speed and acceleration. So when they write it reaches a speed and there's a force acting, we know what they're talking about there. They're talking about the fact that there's an acceleration, so there's a V1 and a V2. So if you reach a speed of 4.1 kilometers per hour, that's a V2. 4.1 kilometers per hour. And of course, if you are reaching that speed, you're probably starting at a speed of 0. So V1 is 0 meters per second. This one has to be changed. If you watch the conversion videos, then the way we change that is by dividing by 3.6. Okay? So you change that to 1.1 meters per second. You have to do your unit conversions. Okay, so now, what do we do with this? Well, we now have a V2, a V1, and a D. And they want us to figure out the force. What's the force? Well, we have to do two things. We know that F equals ma, but we don't have an A yet. So the first thing we have to do is figure out the A. If you go back to our three things here, okay, we have those three things, and if you also want to get an A with those three things, you look on your formula sheet from Unit 1 and you find out there's a formula, V2 squared equals V1 squared plus 2AD. So you write your V2, 1.1, your V1, 2A, and your D, 3,500. And from this, we can figure out the A. So I'm just going to do it really quick. It's going to be the 1.1 squared. And then you have to divide it by 2 and divide it by 3,500. So you get a very small A. I mean, think about it. It's a boat, a big super tanker. It's not going to accelerate like a Ferrari, is it? You get 0.00017 meters per second squared. I rounded that off. You can even round that off if you want to this. Okay, and in scientific notation, that would be 2 times 10 to the negative 4. Don't forget, those two things are the same. But we'll keep it as that for now. Now we can do F net equals ma. And so F net equals the mass, which was up here. I'm sorry. It's way up here. 1 times 10 to the 8 kilograms. And the acceleration, 0.0002. and you put that into your calculator. I'm going to make another video about how to do scientific notation on your calculator because a lot of people don't really remember how to do that. So I'm going to put that one on the LMS too. But I'm going to do a separate video so everybody can see it. So if you're not sure how to do this on your calculator, watch for that video. 1 times 10 to the 8. Essentially, you press 1, you press your EXP button, or some people have an EE button, they mean the same thing, and then put the 8 in, and then times 0.0002, and this is what you get. You get a net force of 20,000 newtons. Don't forget the unit is newtons. That makes sense. It's a super tanker. It's going to take a lot of force to move it or to accelerate it. All right, that's 20.